Fine. In the last session, we have seen how to create the implementation project, right? We enabled offerings and options. We created implementation project, system created task list, and we have seen how to assign the offerings or options or task list or specific task to one or multiple team members. And we have to start with the configuration so that we can start updating the status and we can track the progress of the project also. Done. Now after creating the implementation project, okay, so the first thing is user creation that already we completed. You may create your own user or else you can proceed with the user which you get from Oracle. After user is ready, we have to create implementation project. Implementation project is not mandatory, but it's a good practice if you can create implementation project so that you will be able to do all the setups from the same project. Since you are going to have implementation project, system will allow you to move the setups from one instance to another instance based on the project definition. The project definition will allow you to move the setups from one instance to another instance by using the configuration packages. Done. Now before you start with any configuration, what we have to do is we have to work on geographies. We have to work on geographies. It's all about maintaining the country specific data. So we know every country has the standard address structure. Based on that structure, we have to maintain the information within the system. Okay, if you take US, the states, the cities, counties, postal codes, all you have to maintain. Okay, again it got specific structure hierarchy. So by following that, we have to make sure that the geographies information is available in the specific instance so that when we are going to create any locations, the location maybe belongs to your legal entity address definition that could be related to your business unit, nothing but EBS operating in it, or inventory organization location, or say address, or when you are creating the customers and suppliers, we have to specify the sites belongs to exactly which address. And when you are dealing with the taxation, so we have to do the configuration, maybe location based tax configuration, etc., etc. So that means we required predefined geographies information in the system by following the country address style. So in the fresh instance, what we have to do is we don't need to create manually. Oracle is providing all the data. Oracle is providing the geographies information within the instance, but in the fresh instance, you have to activate it. It's nothing but you have to submit to populate specific country address style related data within the environment. We'll see if you have access to fresh instance, okay, after creating your own user, after creating implementation project, before you go on to create any configuration, okay, what we have to do which is related to geographies, we'll go and see that. So just click on the user, go to setup and maintenance. It will take us to FSM homepage. Already we discussed those points. Okay, just click on setup and maintenance, so that will be landing on FSM homepage, functional setup manager homepage. Done. Now click on task list. Just click on task list. You don't need to go to project, not required. It's a very generic task. Directly you can go to search page. Click on search. It's very simple. If you go to, I'm canceling this. If you go to project, if you go to implementation project, we'll be selecting our project. Within our project, what are the tasks are available, you'll be able to perform. But if you go to search page, within this instance, not within this instance specific project, within this entire instance, what are the tasks are available, everything will be able to access from this search page. That is the difference. If you are trying to if you are trying to search for specific task, if the task is available within that project, then only you can find it. But if you are trying to do the same activity from the search page, it will allow you to access any task which is available within this instance through offerings. Okay, say for example, as a part of implementation project, we selected only financials. If you go to our project, you can find finance related tasks. Other few dependent tasks you may find which are related to other applications also. But your requirement is you want to do few setups related to PPM, nothing but project portfolio management, which is equal to EBS project suite, including PA, project accounting. And if you want to do some setups which are related to core HR or core payroll, that you cannot do from our project. The reason, within our project we selected only offering called as financials. But if you want to do any application related setups, you can do from here. But all setups are not possible to do from here. What is the reason? Okay, why we have to do from only project? Why we cannot do from the search page? If not from project, what is the alternative option to do those setups? Everything we'll discuss, but only the point here we have to understand, we can access all tasks from the search page which you may not access from your project because of the offerings which you are selecting into your project. Okay, now we have to search for the task called as manage geographies. Okay, search for the task called as manage geographies, or just type geographies. Search. So here is the task called as manage geographies. Just click on manage geographies. Okay, just click on manage geographies. It will take us to the page from where we can find specific country address style, and if any data is already loaded, that you can find. But by default in the fresh instance, we have to perform the activity of loading the geographies data. Fine, done. Now say we are going to do the implementation for US client. In that case, search for US. So country name, you can search with the country name. If not country name, country code. We are going to search with the country code. So US, click on search. Okay, search, yes. So country is United States. Okay, here you see here geocoding defined. Geocoding defined in the sense, just here you no need to do anything. In the fresh instance, you can see this is not as a enabled. Okay, you have to just click once on that, that would get enabled. Once you click, by default this is how you can see in the fresh instance. Since this instance is in usage, that is marked as a enabled. Now I disabled it. Okay, so see, geocoding not enabled. You can click on geocoding enabled. What is the use of it? When you are dealing with the finance and SCM or other application, there is no use. But when I talk about CRM, if somebody is accessing the same instance through their mobile app, so that will enable the option of the latitude and longitude, which is used by Google or any maps purpose, so that where the salesperson is residing easily will be able to track. Okay, for that tracking purpose, so we have to enable this geocoding. You just place the cursor on that. Okay, the latitude and longitude coordinates for the location. So that means there are say 10 salespeople, two salespeople we have in US and two salespeople in India, other salespeople are in the different countries. If they are accessing the same application through their mobile app, so if you this geocoding is enabled, so other people will be able to track where other salespeople are at that point of time. So for that reason, this geocoding can be useful for any country. And address cleansing defined, we don't need to do anything with this. Okay, so just it by default it will be unchecked, and I mean not completed. You have to click on that so that it will be just enabled. Okay, so I'm just talking about fresh instance how it works. Okay, so just you have to click on that, it will be selected. So just to it's nothing but just it's all about the validation and formation purpose. One second, I'll show you. If you just place the cursor on that, it will display. Just place
So,
the
Lakshman, does it integrate with Google address validation?
no, voice is not clear.
Yeah. Does it integrate with Google address validation
We don't need to
API?
do anything. This is the
Does it?
cloud instances. One second. These are cloud instances from our side. We don't need to do anything. Once you enable, the rest Oracle will take care of. Okay. So here it's simple.
Or does it use any other third party address validation?
Sorry, see, your voice is not clear. Please check with your audio. If the audio quality is not good, we cannot discuss much. Yeah. Please check it.
Can you
Yeah, please go ahead.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Yeah. So does it validate with USPS address or a Google address?
Sorry?
Mm. The address when you enter in Cloud Fusion,
No, no, no.
does it get validated?
We'll be entering the address which we have within our instance only. So those are the values are seeded values, right? It's a fixed values. So based on that, it will be connected. For example, you enter the city as a dollars within the application. Now that the salesperson is reselling dollars, the same value it will be connected with Google Maps or any other maps. That's how it will track the person. Okay, we don't integrate the Google data with our application. So within that application, by following the address style, what are the data we are maintaining, based on that it will sync with the maps etc for tracking purpose. That's it. But anyway, that it's not related to us. That's for CRM, for salespeople. Okay, done. Here address cleansing, just you have to click on this once, that it will be turned into as a completed. Just now we have seen, you have to click on this, the fresh instance, just say save and close. Okay, it is just to, it's functionally we don't need to do anything. It's internally it will just have some action of validation etc. For that, I mean, it will start activating that address cleansing kind of process, I mean, where the validation takes place. And here structure defined, we no need to do anything. We no need to define the structure, we no need to define the hierarchy, but we have to work on the validation. We'll see. So only what you can do is, you can just, you may click on this geocoding enabled, you can click on this enable it and enable this too. After doing this, what you have to do is, in the fresh instance, you have to go to actions, and here the last option, import geography data. We selected here country as a US. And now if you go and click on import geography data, what system will do is, once the moment you click on import geography data, system will identify for which country record is selected. Based on that, it would populate United States data for this manage geographies task for the specific country. Where we have a geographies data within the instance they are maintaining, but you have to activate for specific country. Once you submit this, because within this instance already it's submitted, you no need to do anything, you no need to understand anything here. The simple point you have to understand is, you have to go find your country, for which country you are doing the implementation. You have to go to action, just you have to click on import geography data. There won't be any parameter, it runs at instance level. Once you click on import geographies data, then system will start triggering the process, and automatically the address structure will be loaded for this country, and based on the structure, it would be system will load the relevant data. Okay, we'll go and see that. So you just clicked on this, and it takes some time, couple of hours time also sometimes, and it will load the data. Once you load the data, you can go to structure defined. This means the structure will be defined by system automatically, because you selected country United States and you submitted the process, automatically it will create the structure. Just click on this structure defined. Here completed icon we have, just click on this. This is how the structure would be created by the import Nokia data process only. What is import Nokia data? What is the Nokia data? The geographies data they are maintaining in specific source within the instance only, or you may call it as a module similar to that is another module. It's reality not modules, it's all about segregation. Okay, so they're just named the source name as a Nokia. Within that they are mentioning all the geographies data, all the countries data. Once you if you want to populate the data by selecting particular country, you are submitting import Nokia data. Once you submit, this is how the US address style will get displayed. Okay, so geography type, state, county, city, postal code. So this is how just you can, system will be loading. If you don't want to load, if you want to maintain everything through manual process, yes, we have an option that also I'll show you. First we'll understand, let's understand what generally we do. Okay, this is how system will be loading. Okay, done. After loading, now, yeah, please, any questions? Think no. Okay, so this is how system will be loading all the address style. See here we have a level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. That means these are following hierarchy. Done. So system will be loading like this. Then just you can click on cancel, and you can click on hierarchy defined. That means here what are the structure you could see. By following this structure, system will load the relevant data once you click on import Nokia data. So it will be loading all the states, all the counties, cities, postal codes. That information you can see by navigating to hierarchy defined. Just click on this hierarchy defined complete icon, completed icon. You can see here countries, United States. These all are states. Expand any one of the state as per the hierarchy. Within the state we have a county. These all are the counties. Within the county we'll have a postal code. Okay, city, postal code. State, county, city, postal code. This is the address structure of address style for
Lakshman,
US. Yeah, please.
hi Lakshman.
Yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah, just a question. Then why is that import geography data was grayed out? Is that because you already imported it in the
Yeah,
system?
already submitted. That is the reason. If you are not,
Oh,
since
okay.
that is submitted, we are able to see this data. The fresh instance,
Okay.
okay, that would be active. You can just click on it. It will trigger this process and it will load the data.
Okay. Got it.
Okay?
Thank
Yeah. Now, in this instance, it's already completed. Again, there is no need of again submission. That is the reason. Based on the submission and completion, they are disabling that option. Done. The same way, you can just go back by clicking on cancel.
Lakshman,
Sorry.
this is Mirza.
Yeah,
Basically, what is the sequence of enabling this geographic? For example, what we have to enable in
no,
the
no, no.
sequence way?
Nothing is no sequence need to be followed here. It's not mandatory. You have to enable this directly. You can come here. You can just go to actions and say import geography data. Later, the data which is available based on the data, if you want to use for location tracking for the salespeople, you may enable. Okay, geocoding defined. The same way address cleansing for the validation when we are going to use it. That's it. Okay, here in between these options, no sequence. Once you load it, automatically system will define the structure and it will define the hierarchy. That's it. These two are primary. This you can enable or you can ignore, doesn't matter. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Other point here.
Lakshman,
Yeah.
actually for the data it is showing as vertex, right? Means by default the vertex
I'll
taxing
explain
also
the
will get
points of
imported.
it. No, no, no. I'll explain you. That is the name what you are able to see, because Oracle taken from the Vertex vendor. Okay, the source data is Vertex or any other tax engines. What Vertex or Taxware, okay, or Fabrics. There are many tools, right, for tax calculations
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
geography data maintenance. So within this system, whatever the data Oracle is providing, they are providing with the help of which vendor. Okay, so that is the difference. I'll take you through that. We'll see that information once again. Anyway, I'm going to show you how to add some additional city or state or county within that if there is need of doing it. Yep, fine. So validation defined. Once you submit that process, it will define the structure. It will load the data by following the structure for the relevant geography types. Here, geography type means state is geography type, county is geography type. Here you could see that. If you click on structure defined, geography type, state is one geography type, county is one geography type, city is one geography type. In the same way, postal code. Done. Now just click on validation defined. Here, so do you need any validation? That means you loaded the data by submitting this import Nokia data. So going forward, the same data you are expecting to see through LOVs, enable list of values. If enable list of values, if you are say you are going to create the uh, supplier address. In the supplier address, when you are creating the site for the supplier, you have to select the country. The site is belongs to which country? Okay, you will be selecting. The moment you select the country called as US, automatically system will default these 4 fields because US following this structure. When system defaults these 4 fields, if you want to, if you are expecting the field should display LOV values, then you have to enable list of values here. If you don't enable this list of values, when you are creating the site for US, it will show dynamic fields. Okay, it will show dynamic fields. That means you don't see any LOVs. You will see country, state. Okay, you will find the state. When you find the state name directly you have to enter. Other side, it is loaded within the instance. If any value it's mismatch, it will fail. Okay, if any value mismatch, it will fail. For example, okay, you have a city called as Dallas. This you loaded. Now since you are not enabling list of values when you are creating the supplier or customer or any address, say you have to enter the city name within the city field. If you want to enter, the field will be dynamic field. You cannot select any LOV, but Dallas with that characters, the name is exist within the instance. Now since you are not enabling this LOV, you have to enter the name. Say you enter the name as like this. Whenever you click on save, the validation will fail. So it's a big task. Sometimes users may commit the mistakes when they are just creating some location with some new city or new postal code or new county, etc., etc. So that is the reason always the best practice is you can enable list of values so that for the states, county, city, postal code, whatever the data you loaded through Nokia import Nokia data process, the data would be available with against those fields through LOVs. Okay, make sure that you are enabling. Otherwise, even you loaded the data, it would be available within the instance, but when you are trying to create the locations with the same address styles, there won't be any use. You have to enter manually, dynamically the values matching with existing instance value. Okay, then only it will accept, otherwise it will reject. Okay, so that is nothing but here geography validation. When this checkbox is enabled and whenever you enter the data, it will cross check what user is entering, okay, and what is the values available within the instance. That is nothing but geography validation. Okay,
Lakshman,
yeah,
hi
please.
Lakshman.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is okay. Like, what if it's like a new state or a new place has been
I'll show
added
you
to
that.
that
I'll
country
show
and
you. I'll show you.
yeah,
We can
okay,
add it.
yeah, thanks.
Yeah. And tax validation. Okay, if you are doing the implementation for the country where you have a taxation, it's a very much recommended and you have to take it as mandatory. You have to enable tax validation so that your fusion tax module, okay, the fusion tax module or any approach based on the country localization you are using, the same this data would be displayed for your tax configuration also, so that there will be system will take care of the validation of that geographies information for taxation purpose also. That means the same information can be used for taxation purpose for your tax configuration. So when you are dealing with any country implementation, you submit import no-code data. Make sure that this for these three different checkbox options you are enabling for your geography type. Okay, this is what we have to understand here. Okay, so here United States postal address format, the first one. This is a postal address format. The second option is tax address format. Okay, by default same, but make sure that you are enabling for those also. Even you could see no style format. So for this also you implement the same, enable it. Okay, what Oracle says is just for even no style format also just enable it, so that you won't be having any issues with anywhere anything. Okay, so these are the different style formats we have for each format. Okay, we have to enable it. By default system will enable, we no need to do it, but make sure that it's enabled. There is no issue with this. Done. Now let's see, we submitted import Nokia data and system loaded structured and relevant data. I think somebody is unmuted. Now what your requirement is, you want to add one additional postal code or additional city, additional state. Okay, because there is some new city came up or something else. In that case, what you can do is very simple. You can go to hierarchy defined, click on hierarchy defined. Okay, you want to add one city. Where you want to add, the city should be under county. Now you have to select, if you want to add city, you have to select the county. You want to add one city under which county? Select county and click on add or say create. I'm selecting county since I want to create city. If you want to create the postal code, you have to select the city. If you want to add on state, you have to select the country. Okay, that's how it works. So I'm selecting county so that it will allow us to create the city. So I'm clicking on create. So here you can enter the city name, city 1. Okay, you are entering the city name from where you got the data. Just as a user, you just got a requirement of adding the city, or else of course you will be adding the city freely that exists, but it's your own data you are entering, or else you are taking the help from these different data providers. Okay, so tiger data, taxware or vertex. Okay, so or else US geological survey, just what are the data you got from them, that data you are entering, or user entered, just user is entering, they are not getting this data, so data information from some other vendor, etc. So just for information only, you may select this and you can provide the data. Okay, so this information based on the vertex file which you got from the uh, just vertex vendor. So in that case you may provide it, so that that information would be available to understand on what base. If you just click on save and close, this would be added. Just click on save and close. Okay, now you can see city here, new city. Under this country, new city is added. Under that, if you want to add any postal code, select that city, click on add. Okay, now say save and close. But there won't be any need. Okay, we can just load the data, it will always provides updated information. You expand city, you can find the postal code which we created. Anyway, this is not required, you can delete it. So you created here by mistake, you created city under postal code or postal code under city. In that case, you have always option to move up. You can just move these positions from one place to another place. That's how you can do it. Okay, submitted process, the process will delete it. Okay, already I think for city it is already postal code is running, no issues, will submit for this also. Once the process is completed, you don't see these values here. Already the postal code is gone. Now city, it may take some time to display. Now just expand this. Here that city also deleted. Okay, done. So that's how you can add it. Okay, that's how you can add it. Say for example, you don't want to just load this data, and if you want to manage everything through manual process, what you could do is just directly search. You could find all the countries. Just directly click on search. You list out all the countries. Yeah, please.
Lakshman, once we do validation, so any background process will run here or any report will be
For
generated?
validation, we don't run any background process, but if the validation includes your tax validation, so as a part of fusion tax, nothing but as per EBS, EBT, e-business tax, as a part of configuration, will run one validation program. Okay, what are the setups we do? Within the setups, whatever this the data, whatever we are going to use related to geographies, that has to be get synchronized with this data. This data should be populated and available for the user transactions related to taxation. So that is the reason we have a separate program, separate job. Here each program we are calling a job. It could be report or process related, so we are calling the job. We have to run one job for this address validation purpose. Okay, as a
Okay.
part of that, anyway, we'll be running that when we are working on fusion tax configuration. We'll see that. Yes, we have to run, but now it's not at all required. Only as a part of tax configuration, only have to do it. Okay, done. So directly click on search. It will list out all the
Thanks.
countries. Yeah, thank you. All the countries. Here you can see for many countries, so these are not enabled. That means the Nokia data is not submitted. See many countries. Here all you could see if you place the cursor, not enabled. Okay, not completed. No structure is defined. It's nothing. If you want to do it through manual process, yes, you can do it. Say for example, Bahrain. So for this country, you can just here. This is how by default it would be. Just click on geocoding, not defined. Click on that, it would be enabled. Just click on that geocoding. Just click on. You can see it's enabled. And you may just click on this. These activities you can do after defining everything or initially also. This is just for a validation purpose. And here you can click on go to structures. Click on that go to structures icon. There is no structure for Bahrain. If you want to create, you can create it. Your own structure, then you can enter your own data. So say for example, just select, and here option is available, copy country structure from. That means if Bahrain, the address style is similar to some other address style, some country address style, so you can select here. Okay, say for example, this Bahrain address style, so very similar to some, for example, Belgium address style. In that case, you can select it. If you can click on apply automatically, the structure will be copied here. So otherwise, simply you can create new address style for Bahrain. You have to click on create, then you have to click on create and add geography type. So here when we have to go with that, the values what Oracle is providing, if those are not enough, then only you have to go. So here, which can be as a part of address style, which we call as a geography types, if these are not enough. Country, county, okay, some emirates or postal codes, province, a region, etc., state, city, town, zip code, etc. If these all are not enough for us, what Oracle is providing in that case, you can click on this and you can add the value into this list of values. Okay, say for example we are selecting some county. For this, just for testing, any value you can go with this, it would be on top. Okay, and under that, say we'll have a state, you can add it. So within that, say you'll have a city, add it, and within that city maybe you want to go with area, add it. You need something else, okay, that you can create from here. Say save and close. So it's just added. Okay, so this is all. If you may delete it, or else you can take into other hierarchy, etc., etc., you can do it. So this is how we can do it, but basically we no need to go with this manual process. You can submit the Nokia data, it will add that information. After this, what we have to do is say save and close. Okay, now go to the same. Now go to hierarchy defined. Okay, next one is hierarchy defined for the same country. Which country we defined address structure through manual process, you can click on go to task against that. So here you have a country called as Bahrain, expand it. Okay, within that, for you don't have any data defined under that. So what you can do is, that is address style we have, right? Style we define. Now under this, I want to create, we created I think county. So we'll add county. Select country, click on add. Okay, here some value you can enter. Say save and close. The system will follow the hierarchy. See, I just under Bahrain I added one value that is system is taking as a county. By selecting Bahrain, if I add one more value, that also it will take as a county only. That's how we have hierarchy. Now I am selecting this county value. If I create any value under county, we given city. Okay, that value it will take. It will classify as a city. Now expand it. You can see as a yes, we given state. Now by selecting state, if you create value under state, what we have city. Okay, under state we have city, under city we have area, under area we created some value as a part 1 or etc. So this is how just you can manually also you can do it, but not required. Oracle is providing the information that we can make use of it. So this is how in the same way any country you take example and just verify. You could see. Say we'll go and check for India. Go to hierarchy defined. You could see for India all the states, cities, including villages, all the states. Okay. So here So within this, we don't have a state called as Telangana. The reason we don't have localization solution, so Indian clients are not using this. So we have all the other states and all. Since there is a new state, even I mean, since product solution is not available, they didn't include in this. Let's go with any one of the state. Expand it. Just click on that. Sorry. Click on that expand icon. Okay. Expand state. So you could see all the districts. Okay. Expand this Hyderabad district. Within that we have town called as Secunderabad. Within that different zip codes, etc., etc. Okay. So this is how just you can find the information. Only what we have to do before we start with the setups, especially location related setups, and instead of waiting to waiting to create the locations and exactly create loading this data for location create before creating the location, simply what we can do is the best thing before you start with any configuration, complete this activity. Okay, before starting with any activity you can complete this activity so that the data would be available. Whatever the location you create, you will be able to pick the values from this manage geographies based on the data availability. Any questions on this from anyone, please? We have to run that process. That is the primary thing which we have to understand. Okay, done. Okay, just try to understand. You have to go to manage geographies and you have to run the data. Okay, data you have to submit. Once that is done, you can start with the implementation. So project user is ready. From that user we can access the instance, and we created project also, and we say populated Nokia data. So now we can start with the configuration. Since we are going to work on financials anyway, the common setups are related to finance only. Even if you are going to implement SCM or any other application, initially you have to start with the common configuration. Common configuration is nothing but creating your primary ledgers, creating the legal entities and the business units, which are quite common to use implement any application. But since we are dealing with the finance, that area belongs to us only. So let's talk about it. So first we'll see the calendar creation. Okay, so we'll create the calendar. So create accounting calendar, right? So we know very well when you are creating any transaction, we have to track the transaction we are creating on which date, and which date we are creating. The date is belongs to which period. Again, the transaction belongs to which period. Again, that period is belongs to which year. All the specifications should be there when you are recording the transaction for detailed tracking. So that all we can maintain by using the accounting calendar. So we know very well in EBS how we create the accounting calendar. How to create the accounting calendar? In EBS, first we have to create, it could be EBS 11A or release 12, any version. First we have to create period type. That means the accounting calendar we are going to create for which period. So monthly or weekly or quarterly or daily, whatever the period we are going to use, we have to create the period type. After creating the period type, you can create the calendar. So by selecting that period type, by giving the period prefix and the period that belongs to which quarter and the period number, the date range, exact period name, how it should be displayed for the users, with all the specifications for each and every period we have to define in the system. Manually we have to create the calendar. First we have to create the period type, then you have to create the calendar through manual process. If not manual process, you may use some data loader. You can just by using the data loader sheet, you can prepare the accounting calendar data, and you can point to our specific instance the form and you can submit. That's how, like, after preparing the data loader sheet, you can load the data into directly into instance. So that's how the different options are available in EBS. One is manually you have to create, and if not manual process, by using the data loader sheets you can do it. But in the Fusion, you no need to create the calendar through manual process, or no need to load the calendar into application. They did some enhancement to accounting calendar. What is that enhancement? You have to provide the specifications, which period type. The period type is here. In EBS we have to create. In the Fusion we no need to create. Oracle is providing the predefined period types. You have to specify the period type, and you have to specify when the accounting calendar should start, and you have to specify how many adjustment periods you require within your calendar. Adjustment periods to perform the adjustment transactions. You may have end of the year if required, maybe in the mid of the year. If you are performing the translation, we know we cannot perform the translation for the first period, right? In EBS also, because of that reason, the very first period you may create as adjusting period as a workaround. Okay, so however you want to create the accounting calendar, you have to give the specifications within the system. Then automatically system will trigger the process to create the accounting calendar. Okay, so accounting calendar creation is automated. Just you have to provide required inputs, then automatically system will create the accounting calendar. We no need to create any period type. We no need to create the calendar through manual process. Now we'll go and see that. Okay, we'll go and see how to create the accounting calendar. Go to instance. Let's do it from our project. You can create accounting calendar from search page also. Okay, which tasks you cannot create from search page, we'll discuss whenever we reach that relevant tasks. Okay, fine. Now go to our implementation project. Click on manage implementation projects task. Here you could see our implementation project. Okay, here you could see our all implementation projects. Out of that, what are the implementation project we created? That is ERP1 implementation project, right? ERP1 implementation project. Now you can click on this ERP1 implementation project, or else if you can see the big list, simply you can click on overview. So already we discussed, when you are working for your client, you may create one project, or if you are doing the implementation for multiple countries, each country you may create one project. That's all. Yes, since this is a Vision instance, you could see a number of projects, big list, because they are using for practice purpose. So in case of client instance, you may create only one. So directly you can see here the same one. You can click on this, or else if you want to default the project which is associated to this user, you can click on overview, so that you can see the overview of the project also. That means how much percentage it is completed, etc. All the details you can see from here. This and all we discussed already, right? Now click on the project name. It will open the project definition. So from here you can search for the task called as accounting calendars. Search for accounting calendars. Okay, search for accounting calendars. Click on search. So you can find the task here. So almost 99% of tasks, whatever we perform, okay, that with the help of task only we can do it. Whatever you want to create, you have to use the task. 99% of tasks starts with the prefix called as manage. But when you are searching for a specific task, it's not mandatory. You have to include manage also in the search field. Okay, now this is the path. If you want to go through this task through manual process, okay, just click on manage accounting calendars task. This task is available under which task list. Define calendars you can call as a task list. Okay, every task will have this go to task icon. Go to task icon. Okay, let me drag this column here. Here they given help icon also, help section also. So in the previous environments, release 13 only, before the instance which are not patch applied, you could see help question mark icon here. You have to click on that help. That means you have to enable the help, then only help will be enabled. You have to click on help icon, then that turn into yellow color, okay, or say orange color, it will turn into orange color. That's how the help will be enabled, so that wherever the help is available as a part of product, there the question mark would be enabled. Once you click on the question mark, system will talk about what is that. If here, say for example here help icon is enabled, if you click on that, it will say, it will talks about what is the meaning of the project and the fusion applications or anything. So now these environments, in the latest environments, they're given as a part of this panel. Here they're given show help icon. If you click on show help icon, it will enable the help icon wherever help is applicable. Just click on show help icon. I think in this environment is not getting applicable. Okay, by default it has to show. The instance which you are using for practice, you try, it will work. I think this it is not working. One second. Okay, fine. In this environment, the help icon is not working. What I'll do is I'll show you in the other instance. Anyway, whatever the instance I shared for your practice, I'll connect to that instance. One second. So this is instance we are using for practice purpose. Go to any page. I'm navigating to setup and maintenance. Once we are on this page, or else there you can navigate to project. Okay, so here directly also you can click on show help. Okay, show help icon. It has to enable here. I think in a few instances it's not happening. Yeah, it's enabling. This is how it will enable. So here implementation project help is applicable. Here we clicked on show help, it is enabling. The same way we'll check in our instance. Just it has to get refreshed sometimes, then it will show. The same we did here, but it's not showing here. Okay, in this instance it is showing. So okay, no issues, but let's try to understand that point, how it works. Okay, here somebody created with the same name, ERP1 implementation project. I am navigating to that. So in this instance we enabled help, right? So I'm searching for accounting calendar. Click on manage accounting calendars. Basically the help option will display here also. Here also that shows help icons, but some reason within this instance is not showing. No worries about it. So in a few pages it is showing, in few pages not showing. Got refreshed. We'll go to the project and we'll just enable help, it will display. Show help. Yeah, this is how it shows. Okay, so now you can click on, if you don't know what is the meaning, of course you know anyway, like what is the meaning of accounting calendar, just for information, anything when you are performing any configuration or you are on any page. So if help is applicable for the relevant task or area, system will display this question mark icon. So you can just click on this. Click on that help icon. It gives the very brief definition about it, and if that information is not enough, you can expand that, the relevant information, and still you want to know about it, you can click on more. It will take us to help portal. Okay, help portal, this is how it will display, and you can scroll little down, or else you can click on here search results page. Click on search results page. Here you can search for any information. Okay, you can search for any information. Accounting calendar. Okay, accounting calendar, click on search. One second. I just clicked on that version name, this logo is displaying. Now you click on this. Click on search. It will provide the relevant search results. Yep. So there are around 1503 items are found, which includes accounting calendar, calendar or accounting. So the first one is creating the accounting calendar. The other one is enabling the accounting calendar you created, and calendar validation, defining accounting calendar critical choice, creating the CRM common calendar. So these are the help items you can find. Again, these are classified. You see here help types. Click on this drop down. So out of this, 174 are related to examples, 179 related to FAQs. So 1135 are help topics. PDF guides, no guides are available. There are 15 videos available. Okay, so if you want to access only videos, you can uncheck all these. So we selected videos only, say apply. Based on this term, the search results, wherever the system identifies calendar or accounting, that it will display. Okay, so creating an accounting method, accounting, the term it is finding. So entering the time in the calendar. Okay, so you can see these are the different task related videos. So based on what keyword you are using, according the system will display. Or else you want to filter this all the search results only which talks about very specific application. So I apply to all. This is, I'll say apply. Now I want to filter with the product. So product filtration also available for the search results, whatever you search. Okay, it should not show different application related. It should show related to finance. The two within the finance, general ledger. Select general ledger and say apply. Now only this help information which is related to general ledger only it will show. Now it's a 224 items only. Earlier it's more than 1000, 1500. Now 224. So now it's almost all the help is related to GL only. Calendars explained. Okay. And close, or else you can go back to the search results tab. And what happens if I upgrade my calendar from EBS suite to release 12 to this? Reality, that solution is not available for based on their future plan, the help information they're given. Okay, and this is how can I change accounting period names within the calendar. These different tabs you can keep as this, and you can proceed with other. Creating the primary ledger, where we select calendar over there. That is the reason that topic also they given as a related to accounting calendar. So this is how like the search results you can find, and you can go through that information and you can explore. Okay, now what I want to do is, I don't want all these 224. I need only FAQs or examples. Unchecked. We need only FAQs. Apply. You can filter. So this is all related to FAQs only. How can I identify errors in my accounting calendar? Okay. How can I change accounting period names? When do I rebuild the GL balance cubes? And when do I update an existing calendar, etc., etc. All these are the FAQs which we have to understand, or say which are known for us. So this is how you can use this. And one more option here, you can select the specific offering also. Click on the logo to take us to help home page. Now you don't want to search for something across all these offerings. You want to search something related to financials only. Just click on financials. Okay, now financials got selected. Here the finance related only. They are just giving the information most viewed. Just now we viewed all this information. Okay, it's showing here. And here getting started by role, the videos which are available related to finance. Click on these videos. It will list out the videos which are available related to financials. 11 videos are available. I'm just going back to overview. What are the roles we have? These are the different roles related to finance, key roles. And these are the videos and learning sources, support for business users, etc. Oracle Fusion, cloud documentation, resources. There provides just link where you can find all the documentation, etc. Okay, so this is the documentation area where that I'll show you, like this is we call as just the place where we can get the some table related information or etc related to this Fusion applications. Here you can click on books, it will display more detail level. These are the documentation part related to this application. Okay, and apart from this, you can conduct the search which is specific to finance. If you are searching here, that means any search you conduct that is related to finance data only. Here it won't display some other areas of data. If you want to search and explore on HCM, you have to select HCM. So its system is selecting HCM here. And here you can search and you can find HCM related help. Say procurement, select procurement and you can search. So this is how that help option is available within the instance. Once you click on help, okay, it will just display the basic information. Still, if you want to proceed with the detailed information, you can proceed like this, or else you can click on help. It will open this pop-up window. From here, by clicking on more help also, you can navigate to the same page. Okay, just you can click on icon logo. It will take us to home page. From here you can search for anything. Accounting method, search. Okay, creating an accounting method explained. Okay, this is all you could see, the procedure what we have to follow. Creating an accounting method explain example. You just go through all these details. And want to filter, you can filter. Already we have seen help types we have. Okay, here 17 videos are available related to the topic, maybe exactly related, or which other topics include this term. Okay, that's how it go with the criteria of searching for this. And again, you want to limit this results for specific role people. Click on role. Based on the role also you can filter the search results. It's taking time. You can just click on that. It will list out the roles, and you can select which role related uh, help information you required. Accordingly, it will filter. That's it. It's not showing. Language also. So language is nothing but it's a country specific. That's what system uh, displays. I mean, yeah. Now it's opening the roles. This is how like. So you want to get the information in the search results which are related to employee, where the employee is referred in the results that you want to get it. By default for all it is showing. Now you can click on apply. After selecting the employee, you can click on apply. Still it is processing. It's taking too much time. You can just click on apply, then system what it will do, it will filter this entire all the search results and it will display employee related only 15 search items are available. The only those 15 it will display. The same way you can select the language, okay, and you can select the country. Here country, when you say country, if you select language based search results are available, it will display country in the sense based on the country there will be certain functionality based on country localization, okay, or some other aspects. It could be some payroll related, country specific, or else localization related help topics information is available based on the country it will display. Now by default which displays is very generic, okay, which is very common information. So that's how you can make use of this help. I'm just closing this instance. We'll proceed with our instance. This is our instance now. Okay, that's how you can just go through. So sorry, go to our project. Okay, so this is our project. Now you can search for accounting calendar. Just click on search, click on manage accounting calendars. Okay, here task name is manage accounting calendars. Here we have it two different calendars. One is accounting calendar, other one is transaction calendar, which we can use for average balances. Maybe if you are implementing for banks and all, they may use it ideally. So out of these two, this is a mandatory. They are giving star mark, okay, asterisk, which indicates it's required and mandatory. So this is any task you can find whether the task is mandatory or optional. You can click on go to task icon. It's not responding. Just let me drag this. Yeah. Okay. Click on go to task icon against manage accounting calendar, so that it will take us to the accounting calendar definition page and we can create our own accounting calendar. Yeah. Here we can see many accounting calendars which are already created within this environment. Now we'll go and create our own accounting calendar. Click on create. So provide name. Here they're given the note. Okay. They're given the note which we should remember when you create the accounting calendar. In case of EBS, you should aware of it, otherwise there won't be any note and all. So what the note talks about, translation cannot be performed in the first period of your accounting calendar. Of course, accounting calendar would be part of our ledger, so ledger's calendar they're specifying. So the translation cannot be performed in the first defined period of your ledger calendar, nothing but accounting calendar. So if you have a requirement of running the translation in the first period, the best practice what you have to do is you have to create first period as a adjusting period, so that system will treat the actual period or period as second period it will allow. So they given the note. The same in EBS, it could be 11 or 12, same condition rule is applicable. That's the limitation within the application. Fine. Now here you can provide the name. Say ERP1 accounting calendar. Because this field accepts very limited characters. So that is the reason I'm writing the short name. If you want to write the description, yes, you can write the description. ERP1 accounting calendar. Okay, ERP1 accounting calendar. So here we have to provide the start date. Okay, your accounting calendar should start from which date? So since we are creating accounting calendar for US financial year is Jan to December, right? It starts in Jan and ends in the December. If you are creating accounting calendar for India, you have to start with April, March, April, and you have to end with that just period of March. That's how it should go. So that's how you have to just create accounting calendar based on the country financial year. We know that. So based on country financial year you have to represent with the calendar definition. Now we are going to create accounting calendar for US. You have to select start date as a 1st Jan. Select Jan 1st 2019. Here format. Okay, this date format by default within instance what Oracle provides month, date and year, not date, month, year. You can set the preferences. Okay, here we have option to go and set the preferences, but don't disturb. That will cause issues also for other users. Initially when we are starting, we have to set the format and accordingly you can just change it. Don't go and change it. So the flexibility we have, but in this uh, demo instances, don't do any changes. By default, the format what Oracle is providing is month, date and year. Fine. Now period frequency, which is equal to period type in EBS. In EBS, we have to create the period type and we have to select. Within that, when you are creating the period type, you will be specifying number of periods for the year. Okay, that's how you will be specifying number of years and year type, whether physical year or calendar year. You have to specify. Here by default inbuilt they given that number of periods. If you select monthly, by default 12 only. Okay, that's how here we have a different options. Okay, quarterly, weekly, yearly. Other means you can specify number of periods, how many you want other than this, weekly, etc., etc. Or you can select. By default we have to define that calendar with the monthly periods ideally, which is a general practice. So the same I am selecting monthly. And when you create the period, okay, or say when system creates the periods within this accounting calendar, this is the format system will use. Whether you are okay with this format or you want to go with a different format, you can choose. Different formats are available, but here we are choosing the format, the month with the 3 characters and year only with the 2 characters, and in between this is a separator. Between the month and year, separator is hyphen, the same it's showing, or else between those you need separator like slash, like this it shows. Not required, you can go with the hyphen only, or else none. You set to none, that means no subject, directly the two values will be joined. Okay, month and year, use hyphen only. So this is a day period format we required. And adjusting periods frequency. Okay, so here you can specify. So since we are not entering, this is a rule we have to specify. So you need adjusting period. So period frequency monthly means it will create 12. If you need any additional periods along with this 12, that we have to define as adjusting period, we know. So adjusting period generally we use for adjust, to perform, to record some adjustments, entries, etc. Right? So at any cost we generally maintain end of the year, right? Minimum end of the year when you are closing the books, to pass the adjustment entries in the separate period instead of doing in the actual period, we can just use the adjusting period. Here we may specify once at year end, so that 12 periods plus 13 periods, 12 periods plus this one, total 13 periods it will create, or else twice at year end, or once mid year and twice at year end. That means 3 adjusting periods. It will create one in the mid of the year, two in the end of the year, or else once mid year and once at mid of the year one adjusting period and end of the year one adjusting. So once at beginning of year, once at end of the year. This is how just it's all like a system will use, okay, as we require. If not these, you can go with a, or else quarterly one adjusting periods you require. You can select other. In that case, you can give how many adjusting periods you require. Number you can specify. This all it will take in the end of the year by default. Okay, so let's select once at year end. And here you could see budgetary control only one checkbox. In EBS, when you create the budget, the same accounting calendar we use for budgeting purpose also. Yes, that is the option available. You cannot use different calendar for budgeting purpose apart from accounting calendar. Same budgeting accounting calendar only we have to use for budgeting purpose also. But Fusion, you can have different budget calendar when you compare with the accounting calendar. Maybe your accounting calendar is monthly, your budget calendar you can create separately, that could be weekly. You may want to set the budgeting weekly wise. If you have accounting calendar with a monthly in EBS, the same periods we have to select. When I select the same periods, you cannot do it, it won't sync also. In case of Fusion, you can select, you can create calendar separately for budgeting purpose, so that if the calendar what you are creating that is only used for budgeting purpose, you have to enable so that you can use for only budgeting. By default, whatever the calendars you create as accounting calendar, even if you don't enable budgetary control only, okay, that would be available for budgeting purpose. By default it would be available, just you may mark it, it's I want to use only for budgeting purpose, not for the purpose of actual accounting calendar where we record the transactions. So that is the purpose Oracle given. If you enable it, so this would be available when we are defining the budget, okay. So that you will be able to define the budget by following the periods frequency what you specified here. So that is the meaning of budgetary control only. Any questions here, please? Any questions to understand accounting calendar definition? Once you click,
Lakshman, can you explain what does it say on top of it, like
Sorry?
translation cannot be run? The first defined
translation,
thing.
right? Deepti, I think Deepti is speaking. You know translation?
Yeah.
Yes?
No.
No. Okay. See, if you are not aware of, like anyway, we'll be working on the translation as a part of our classes. But if you have some little bit knowledge, that really help you. See, translation is the activity where you convert balances from one currency to another currency. Okay. So we did a transaction this month. We did many transactions. So say we are in India and we are running the business in India. Same time we have a business in US also. So now from India we want to report the total information to US. So India, all the transactions will be in INR. Those you have to convert total INR balances. You have to convert to USD as per your requirement. For that, the concept what we use is translation. Through translation, you can convert the balances from one currency to another currency. In our accounting calendar, the first period is what? Jan. Jan period balances, if you want to convert and you want to use for actually the translation related balances will use in the concept called as consolidation. These concepts will be working on GL, okay, but just for information. So that you cannot do it. For John, you cannot do the translation. Really, if you want to do the translation for John, what Oracle is saying, before John, you maintain another period. In that case, you can go with the option called as
one
set
at the beginning and one set
beginning of the year and one set end of the year. Done. In that case, our translation requirement also can be fulfilled if you want to do the translation in the first period. Anyway, Feb, March, April, you will be able to do the translation, but in the first period, there is a limitation in the system. To overcome it, you can use this option. So first period will become adjusting, which is not really first period, just for this purpose. That is a note they are giving. Otherwise, you have a requirement of translation by without having knowledge, without knowing this condition. If you create accounting calendar, it's not easy to go and update. We cannot do any updates against the existing calendar. That will become big challenge. To avoid
Okay.
that kind of confusion or issues, so Oracle given as a statement here. That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, thanks. So any questions here, please?
Hello.
Yeah, please.
For a fiscal calendar, suppose it's a June or somebody starts, so we have to select the June date.
Just you have to select the start date, June 1st. That's all.
Okay.
For few countries, you might have aware of it. The year starts in the mid of the month. Same you have to select. Accordingly, it will create.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. In EBS, we can specify when you create the period type, that is a year type is physical or calendar. But here nothing. Just it's all about start date will decide, and it will system will understand, and it will create the periods accordingly. It's completely automation. Any questions here, please?
Yeah, Lakshman, uh, the project which I'm working in, like a physical calendar, is like from August to July. Okay,
Okay.
and they
Okay.
have got a requirement to change it from Jan to December, the year's physical year.
Okay.
So we have added some staff period for that, and then we made it from Jan to December. So is there any possibility that, like, once we fix the calendar for this in this season, is there any possibility that we can change something like that?
No, just you cannot do that. I think you created transactions and everything you done, or just you created accounting calendar, or you not yet created ledger, or etc. etc. What is the case? That's very important.
The case is like they need a change in calendar physical year. Okay,
Can you be a bit
we are
loud? Can
using
you be
like
a bit
some.
loud? Now at present, what they created? What is date range?
No, no, no. Actually, we are running with August to July calendar period.
Okay,
Okay.
that means physical year you created.
Yeah, physical year. So it got acquired by a US firm. So we have made it from Jan to December by adding some staff periods. Okay,
No, no,
like
1 second. The
August to
first point.
December.
No, 1 second, 1 second. The first point is you
Yeah.
created. That means the client is from maybe other than US, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
In that case, you created. See, let US firm acquire it, but still the business should be run in the same country, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why
Yeah.
we have
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
change? If they are moving the entire business from that country to US, you have to change it. Otherwise, for only US operations only, they required a US calendar. I mean, Jan to December.
Yes.
Even
Yeah.
who is the owner doesn't matter, right? Where the business is running accordingly, we have to maintain the calendar. So now, what is the need of changing? First question.
Need of changing in the sense like they want the US calendar to be implemented for all
No,
their
no, that is
companies.
wrong. That
So,
is not right approach because
okay.
you have to follow that regulations and all, right? That you cannot use for that other the different country. So if you are running the business in India, your financial year is just it starts with April ends by March, right?
Yeah.
You cannot have a accounting calendar to report by end of the December in India, right? The same. Somebody
Yeah. Yeah.
required,
Yeah.
but that doesn't work. You may just talk to them
Okay,
and find out
my question
how
is like,
exactly.
okay, that is fine. My question is like, after we fix this calendar for this project, is there any possibility like that we can change something like that?
No, no, no. You cannot change.
Uh,
What happens is
we cannot.
no, no, no.
Hmm.
You cannot. See, what happens is
Okay.
here we created like this. We given the specification. Now, once you click on next, what system will do is it will create the periods automatically. It will create
Okay.
the periods from Jan to December.
Mm-hmm.
Later also, if you want to create the periods for upcoming years, the same activity, add year. You have to just they'll be giving the option as add year. Once you click on it, it will create the set of periods for entire year based on that starting period. Okay, so you cannot modify. You may just you talk to Oracle if they can help you on that. They can do it again. They'll look into many kind of I mean situation how where you are standing, whether data is available, data is not available. Since you are telling acquired and all, definitely that it's not like just they implemented in usage, right? So it would
Yeah.
become
Yeah.
complex, and maybe they may suggest you something. You can talk to them, but it's not easy. Simply you can do the conversion of calendar. No, just maybe you may raise asset
Okay.
to Oracle. You can just wait to hear from them. But by default,
Mm-hmm.
simply you cannot go and do it. it will cause many issues
Okay.
with the periods.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, done. So that's what these creation of calendars, creation of chart of accounts, and creation of primary ledgers. You should have a double check. You have to make sure that that's what exactly you need, and simply you cannot change in the future whenever you require, even when you are designing the chart of accounts also, right? So these are the one-time decisions by default. Yeah. Fine.
But we can change, Lakshman, we can change before means entering any transaction. We can change the calendar name, chart of account structure before any transaction.
Name you can change by changing the name. What you can achieve? That's all about display name, right? The pattern of the periods which you choose, you cannot change it. That would be fixed. Okay, if the starting period is May, always it's May for any year, right? That's how it works. Say you created accounting calendar, by mistake you created. In that case, you can ignore it and you can create other calendar. That calendar you can use in the primary ledger. You created your accounting calendar and you created primary ledger, but you didn't use that primary ledger to perform any transaction. You realize that the calendar is wrong. No issues. You can stop using that accounting further. You don't go with that primary ledger. Create new accounting calendar, create new primary ledger, then proceed with the further configuration with that new primary ledger. The previous one you can ignore, since that includes the wrong calendar. You already created calendar, you already created primary ledger, you completed many setups. You completed many setups, you are implementing, you completed many setups, you are realized wrong calendar definition. Then what you have to do is raise SR to Oracle to refresh the instance, to remove all the setup data. Again, it will become fresh. Whatever you created, they'll remove it as a DB activity. Okay, then you can again start doing the configuration. Other scenarios, you created a calendar, you created primary ledger, you configured, client started using. Now this is a challenge for you. You have to talk to Oracle. Okay, depends.
Okay.
Lakshman, one question right up here. Suppose like a client is running a US-based client is running a regular like Jan to December calendar. Suppose if they, I mean, for some business reasons, if they want to change the calendar to say 445, is it possible?
No. See, there won't be any business reason to change, frankly speaking. Okay, if they are in US, they have to do it. That is the reason. If such kind of requirements are there in the market and such kind of need is there from the clients, even Oracle should have a solution for that. Okay, the
No,
country.
I can quote an example, Lakshman.
Sorry.
Yeah, I can quote an example. I was working with like one US-based client.
One second. Those all comes under exceptional cases. That means you have such kind of scenario that falls under exceptional. In that case, so we have to talk to Oracle. They will just tell us what way you can fix it. But by default, as a standard product functionality, no, we cannot do the changes for the pattern whatever we are choosing. Okay, this is the point we have to understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, sir.
Yeah, any amendments to calendar, any amendments to chart of accounts, so straight away you cannot do it. Okay, so that's what we have to understand. Fine.
So is this also in release 12 or only in release 13?
Sorry.
Is this also in earlier releases or only in this release?
No, not only Fusion, even in EBS also. In Oracle ERP, it could be EBS 11i version or EBS R12 version or Fusion, any version. Same applicable. Okay, done. Any other questions here, please? If no questions, you can just click on next. It will create the accounting calendar. Let me just click on this next. It will trigger the process of defining the calendar. Created. So how it is created? The same, the period names and year and the number of period number. See how many it created? 13, because we given one adjusting period last, so it is just marking as adjusting. Here you could see the column name adjusting period. These all are not adjusting periods at all. These are the actual periods. This is the adjusting period, and it belongs to which quarter and start date, end date, everything system taken. Now what we have to do is you should save it. You should save it. After saving this, if you want to create periods for next year, it's very easy. You can click on add year. Automatically will add the periods for 2020. The next year is 20. So now we have periods only for 2019. You want to create the periods for next year also. So just click on add year. One click. Created. See here. Jan to December including the adjusting period. Save it. This is how whenever you need the periods for new year, you can just with one click you will be able to generate automatically. Fine. Any questions here, please?
Hi, Lakshman. I have a question. This is Milan.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, so can we change the start date and end date as per business requirement? For example, from 1st of January to 20th of January, and then the next period will start from the
You
1st
cannot
of
change the
Feb.
start date for your accounting calendar. Okay, you cannot change anything. See here, you can notice you can change the display name, you can change the description. The rest system is freezing. The frequency or the logic of how many adjusting periods you require, you cannot change anything. You have to continue with whatever you define. Changes are not recommended and not possible.
No. I was asking about the start date of, for example, if you go to the period January,
No,
the start date is 1st of January to 31st of January, and I want to change it to 20th of, the end date should be 28th of January. So is that possible?
so that doesn't sync with reality. System also will give the warning to you when you submit this calendar, saying that there is a date gap. System knows. John starts with which date, ends with which date. System knows very well. That's how they programmed. If I make it as John is 30, it will just throws the warning. It says in John month there is date gap. That is from 31st to 31st. That means 31st is missing. That's what you have to understand. If you create the Feb, where the Feb you are starting with a John 31st and ending with a Feb 29. So it's a in Feb the date is overlapping. That means the date is not belongs to Feb. The date is belongs to other period that is again repeating and it is coming here. That's how it shows it's overlapping. If you are taking additional, so that's how they've programmed. Okay, that's
Okay,
how they
got it.
programmed.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, Lakshman, this is Bala speaking.
Yeah, Bala, please.
Question. Can you hear you?
Yeah, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay. I mean, in this scenario, we are thinking always like the start of month start of the month is always the first, right? But in real time scenarios, maybe it might be a different dates. For example, instead of the physical start of the month, maybe some companies might be having
One second. See, it's not specific to country. Everyone should follow that calendar definition by following the country financial year. It's very simple.
No, that's fine.
The rest of reporting or etc. Yes, internally they can manage how they require, how they want to report, etc. But calendar creation should follow your country financial year. Accordingly, you have to create. That's all. Yeah, tell me.
Year is fine, but I'm talking about the month.
Yeah, month.
For example,
when we say year, it includes when it the year when it, the financial year when it starts. So if you take example of India financial year, okay, it starts in April 1st April. It can be any year.
Yeah,
it can be any year. Doesn't matter.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Like in the first period, it started on the 1st January, but the end of that period is like the last Saturday. So the second month is
we cannot decide, right? That we cannot decide, right? That starting date we have to give the month beginning date. The end date we cannot decide. That's how the calendar we have to follow.
But in EBS it's much flexible, right?
No, not flexible. As it is. 100% as it is. You specify me what you are referring. As it is,
Yeah,
yeah, please.
I'm trying to refer the start and end of a period.
Yeah, here also we have a start and end of the period.
Yeah, for example, I have a requirement the start of I'm not talking about the first period of the accounting calendar,
Yeah.
but the first period of the accounting calendar starts at the 1st of January. I understand that. But the end of the period is last Saturday, not exactly the 31st of January, but last Saturday.
Last Saturday. So in that case, see, you can go with that different period frequency. Your requirement may be weekly period definition. Okay.
Okay.
Here frequency is monthly, so system is running that the days when it should end. Accordingly, it is taking.
Oh,
If you have a different requirement, you can take it. Here we have a different options where
yeah, I got it now. I think the frequency should be 445 or whatever it is.
yeah,
I think
445. Yes, exactly. That's how you can end.
okay, thank you.
1 second, I'm closing this again. I'll just go with the creation option. There you could see. Since
Yeah,
we
I think I remember I saw that.
these
Yeah,
you are talking 445 454. That's what I think you are talking.
I'm talking about this. Correct.
It's all about frequency. Since we are dealing with the monthly, yes, we have to go in that way. Done. Any other questions? Okay, no questions. Now we know very well if you want to create the primary ledger, right? If you want to create the primary ledger, we need 4 components. Okay, to create the primary ledger, which is required to record the business transaction within any application, take GL or APR, any application. If you want to create the transactions, we need date for every transaction. For that reason, we require accounting calendar, and we have to specify the currency. The transactions which you are recording, those amounts are rupees or dollars or dinars or etc. What exactly you have to address amounts. That for that we have to use the currency. And again, chart of accounts. That means the transaction details. The transaction belongs to which company, which department, exactly which activity we are doing, that you can represent with account. Chart of accounts and accounting method, where you can have a rules which generates the accounting when you're recording the transactions in other than general ledger application. So these 4 components are mandatory, right? 4 components are mandatory. Okay, with these 4 components we'll go and create the primary ledger. Now we're done with accounting calendar definition. So let's talk about currency. Let's talk about currency. So when I talk about currency, here simply currency is classified as a like functional currency. These things most of the people are aware of it, but just I'm taking through very high level. Functional currency and foreign currency. So what is the functional currency? So a client is doing the business in India. India local currency they treat as a functional currency. Other than India, all other countries currencies we treat as a foreign currency. So a client is running the business in US. So US local currency is USD. USD is functional currency. So other country currencies we treat as a foreign currency. Simple point is wherever client is running the business, that country local currency is functional, other currencies are foreign. We have other currency called as stat, which we can use for calculations purpose. That we don't need to focus on that now. So done. Now you might be doing the business in US. Your client is doing the business in US. So ideally we require USD currency. When the client is doing the business US, they may have suppliers and customers in other countries. So they have to deal with other currencies also, so which we call as foreign currencies. So whatever the currency they are dealing, that could be functional or foreign, we have to enable in the system. We have to make them available so that those we can use at the time of transaction creation. But when I talk about functional currency, so the functional currency you have to select within the primary ledger. If you want to select your functional currency within your primary ledger, whenever you select functional currency within the primary ledger, simply that currency you can call as ledger currency also. Since you are selecting your functional currency within your ledger, primary ledger, that simply you can call as ledger currency also. So if you want to select currency within your ledger at the time of creation, that should be enabled. We know in EBS which currency we require, we have to go and enable it. In Fusion also, we have to go there. We'll navigate to currencies. Search for the task called as currencies. Task is manage currencies. Okay. So the same task is available with the two different paths. You can choose any one of them. Click on manage currencies. So here is the task called as manage currencies. You can click on go to task icon. So in EBS, which currency we require, that could be functional or foreign or any currency, which currency we require, we have to enable. If you don't enable, what happens when you create the primary ledger, you cannot select the currency. If you cannot select the currency, you cannot create the primary ledger. So it's a mandatory, you should enable the currency in EBS, then only the currency would be available. But in the Fusion, by default, all currencies are enabled. Okay, just click on search, it will list out all the currencies. You can notice all currencies are enabled. If at all you want to disable it. Your client is using, primarily they are doing the business in one country, the functional currency is one. They are dealing with the different countries, suppliers and customers, maybe those other countries are 10. These 10 foreign currencies plus one functional currency, 11 currencies. Other than 11 currencies, all other currencies we may disable. So that when users are performing the transactions, unnecessarily the other currencies information won't come. So you may disable it like this. Okay, remember, we no need to enable currencies in Fusion. By default, all currencies are enabled. Check USD. It's already enabled. Just check INR. It's enabled. Check any currency. Check GBP. It's enabled. Okay, any currency. AED. Already enabled. Don't think this is a Vision instance, that is the reason enabled. No. It could be any instance. By default, all currencies are enabled. In case of EBS, when you look at the currency definition, okay, you could find a number of fields, right? Here by default, you could see very limited fields. If you want to see those additional information, you have to expand it. Click on expand. It will display the symbol, etc., etc., all the information. Issuing territory India, okay, numeric currency code, what Oracle just giving, and rates, the symbol specification. Okay, so all this precision, extended precision, all these things you can specify same as EBS, all the columns. And again, when you look at any record in the Fusion applications, so these are the fixed display. If there are some additional fields which are related to this currency record and which are not showing here or here expand option they given, so they are showing. Apart from that, if there are any additional fields which are applicable, to show those additional fields in EBS, what we do, we go to folders, we'll click on show field, it will list out all the applicable fields to specific record. In the same way here, you can go to view, columns, show all. Here by default, all columns are displayed. If any hidden columns, this is how you can see for any record. If any hidden columns are there, it will display. If you don't want to show specific column all the time, so you don't want to show start date and do end date. That's how you can select or deselect. Start area. Now it's nothing, just currency name and description and all. You don't want to see description also. So only currency code, currency name, and do just whether enable column, whether it is enabled or disabled. Okay, that's how. This is how you can use the view option. This is applicable for any record throughout application. So when you are working on invoice creation, you have invoice record or invoice header level or invoice line level or distribution level. You you want to add some additional columns which are applicable and which are related to that, yes, you can do it. Okay. So this is all about currency. We have to understand only the difference if you compare with EBS is in EBS you should enable if you want to use this currency to create the ledgers or to perform any foreign currency transactions. But Fusion, that is not required. By default, all currencies are enabled. Okay, by default, all currencies are enabled. This is the point we have to understand. Okay, in tomorrow's session we'll see chart of accounts. Chart of accounts creation involves multiple tasks. Okay, those we'll discuss and we'll work on it. COA. And after that we'll create our primary ledger and we'll proceed from there. So we're done for today. If you have any questions, you can stay back or else you can quit from this meeting. Okay, we're done for today. Any questions from anyone, please? Any questions on previous classes, or if you have any questions based on your practice, maybe you might have tried to create the user and implementation project. So from there, if you have any issues or any clarification required, please let me know. We can discuss now.
I missed one topic. What is implementation project?
To manage your application configuration, you have to create the implementation project. Don't compare implementation project with real implementation projects. Just to manage your system configuration, you have to create the project that only we call as implementation project. It's just for configuration. You may go through the previous class, you can understand this. There we discussed detail level. Any questions?
Hi Lakshman, my question is what is the difference between accounting calendar and fiscal calendar?
Lakshman, I have one
Because in
question.
Fusion, we can't see the year type as a fiscal year as we have in
No,
previous.
I didn't get in between. Somebody was talking, so I lost what you are telling. Could you please repeat your question?
Yes, sure. My question is what's the difference between accounting calendar and fiscal calendar?
Okay, I'll tell you.
Since we don't.
No, one second. Physical calendar, not ideally, it's a physical year we call. There are two type of years: physical year and calendar year. If any country financial year is starting in one year and ending in the another year, that year we call as physical year. Take India financial year. India financial year falls under India financial, not a calendar year. It's a physical year. That means it is starting. If you take current financial year, okay. So our current, we are in which financial year? When I talk about India, at present, we are in which financial year?
2019-20.
No. We are in which month?
February. February 19.
When financial year ends?
As per normal practice, it should start in April 19 and end at March 20.
Now we are in April 2018, March 2019 financial year.
Right.
So that is a physical year. Okay. And calendar year Jan to December. If you create any accounting calendar which starts in one year, ends in another year, that may be, it may start in the December and it may end in the next year November. That is physical year. Doesn't matter at what point of time it is starting, whether it is starting in one year and ending in another year or not. That's what we have to see. That we call as physical year. Calendar year means it starts and ends in the same calendar year only. Okay, doesn't span across the 2 years. That is a calendar year. So if you create with this approach, that calendar itself you can call as physical year calendar also, nothing wrong. But reality year, the point here is year. Okay. So that's the meaning of physical and calendar. You may call as years or calendars. Same word.
Okay, so if the question is how many calendars are there in instance, so the ideal answer should be transactional calendar and accounting calendar, right?
Sorry?
If the question is what are the calendar types, So ideal answer should be accounting calendar and transaction calendar.
These are very much basics. If you want to understand this, I'll just you talk to the team you are in touch with whom. They'll be providing around 15 videos from my EBS classes. There you can see very much detail level. Each and everything explained very detail level. Of course, we have a classes for 120 hours. So for your basic understanding, 15 sessions they will share and you can go through it. Those are
Okay,
very
sure,
much
thanks.
EBS basics. Okay. How many calendars we
Okay.
require completely depending on the solution which you are building for the client. Say we are implementing for US clients. They are doing the business only in US. Yes, one calendar is enough. One calendar is enough. For each country, minimum one primary ledger is required. Every primary ledger required one calendar. So one calendar is enough. Even if you are, you may have five primary ledgers for US client, but since US has to follow the one financial year, right? So one calendar only. One calendar can be used in multiple primary ledgers also.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
So that always depending on the solution. Okay, depending on the solution design, it will come. But if you are not aware of this, you can just ask the team to provide those videos. Around 15 videos. There will be around 25 hours discussion. So where I just introduced about what is the applications, what is the meaning of responsibility, etc. based on the EBS, how you can design the solution, multi-arc structure, how many operatings require, primary ledgers, legal entities, etc., etc. Explain detail level. Anybody require that information, they can keep in touch with the team. They'll provide you those 15 videos for free. Okay, done. Any other questions here, please?
Hey, Lakshman, in EBS, we'll know once we create any data, we'll be able to find out the table names, right?
Yeah.
So in Fusion, is there any way that we can find out where the data is created?
Giving that who columns access. Okay. Who created, when they created, what is a table or what is a view where the data record stores? No. Okay. That we are not getting. So about record, there you can see as about record. Here you don't see all those information. So here, this is a very basic thing. Just who created and what is the date. This is a limited information. But if you take example of any record, in case of EBS, it should address in which table or in which view that is recorded and etc. That is not possible in the Fusion. Okay, that's just simple which user created and date they given. In fact, this information the very previous versions they didn't provide. Latest version they given, but not up to same as EBS. Any other questions from anyone, please?
Lakshman, one question. So, is that localization concept still available in Oracle Cloud? Like the India localization of generating TDS invoice and all, or that module is not, means that localization is not available?
Solution is not ready.
So, means the Indian customers cannot move to cloud as of now.
Yeah, not using. There are few Indian customers who are using this FHRCS. Okay.
Okay. Means, but we need to run the on-premise instance also then.
Yeah, on-premise instance in the sense they are running. This is who is using EBS clients. EBS clients. EBS clients. What they are doing is their GL data by using FHRCS. They are moving into cloud. This is FRS, or this is a FRS is Hyperion product, HFR. Nothing but Hyperion financial reporting. Okay, most of the Indian clients they are using this option. They can continue with the existing solution EBS. Okay, that too again if they want to use this, they have to be latest version. At least it would be available from 12.1.3. Prior
I
it
think
is
that they're
not.
using Fusion Accounting Hub.
Yeah, Fusion Accounting Hub. That is the meaning of it. FAH means Fusion Accounting Hub. RCS means Reporting Cloud Services. That means we are going to use cloud only for reporting purpose. Which data? GL data. Whatever the data you have in the EBS, GL as a balances, journal information will sync with the through FHRCS. It goes to cloud. There by using the Hyperion Financial Reporting, which is a very, I mean, which is like it's a very powerful reporting tool. With that tool, you will be able to do the reporting. Okay, even you are
Yeah,
not.
it is actually replacing FSG reports in EBS.
Yes. If you are going to use Fusion applications, you will be using this only in the place of FSG. Even if you are not using
Lakshman, I have
cloud
one.
also, at least this benefit you can take with this subscription.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have one question.
Please.
This implementation project, like suppose if I am configuring a new module, right? Like materials management or cost management. So I can use implementation project for that as well, right?
Yes. So these points also explained in the last session only. Okay, but no issues. So
Yeah,
ideally
I
you
missed
can
that.
create one project for one country, that's enough. Or else if you have interest to create finance one project, SCM one project, HCM one project, you can create. It's a possible system will allow. But when you are going to manage, if you want to move the setters from one instance to another instance, in that case that will become a little bit challenge. Without project creation also you can do the setups. But you will just you cannot go with the configuration packages since you didn't create the project. You may have to request the client, Oracle to do the cloning, moving the setters from one instance to other instance with a cloning activity, etc. That's how you have to plan. If you have a simple project definition through project everything, if you are doing everything, you will be tagged as a scope of the task. We'll see that how it would be, the scope how you can find and all. Because of that, system will easily you can extract the setups with a simple process. You can update those setups in the targeted instance. You can create a number of projects, no restriction, nobody will stop us, no conditions are applicable. So but ideally it's always good if you can create one project if you are doing the implementation for one country. Any question?
Lakshman, one connecting question to the earlier one. So the current client, what we are working, so they are having a business in US, Europe, and India. But now the India, we don't have this localization, right? So if they want to move to cloud, so what should be the ideal approach? Because now alone India, it's not, it's something like we cannot run it on on-premise one, right? So what should be the ideal approach for that
They
kind
have
of
to wait.
solution?
See, by this time they might be running their this data maintenance and process and some other system, right? They'll continue for some time till the solution will be out. Okay, meantime they'll just kickstart with those implementations for which countries is applicable. Once solution is ready from India, then they'll go with the rollout for India also.
Okay, so till that time, they need to be India business means we can move only for US and other OUs and all, but this OU has to be there in India, and we need to use this connectors, means some cloud connectors to have this data flow into GL.
No. GL and all nothing. Just see for India how they are using what is the current system they are using for entire business.
Current system is in EBS one, but India they are having a localization
EBS
because all the TDS everything they'll apply over there.
Okay, they'll continue for India operations. They'll run here later. They'll move to cloud prior to that. See, many countries phase by phase they go with implementation, right? In the year phase in the sense
Yeah.
country by country rollouts.
Mhm.
So they follow that approach. Initially, they'll complete the implementation for those countries. So by the time it would be ready, so they can move. Before that, they'll talk to Oracle also. They'll take that how much time and when they can expect, etc., etc. So accordingly,
Okay.
they'll proceed. For that, they don't take any subscription, etc. They'll be taking the subscription for only for those country and the user base, etc.
Oh, okay.
That's how it goes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. So, any other questions from anyone, please? Fine, seems to no questions. We'll connect tomorrow same time, and we'll continue with the chart of accounts and primary ledger and other points we'll discuss and do it. Thank you all. Have a good day and good night.